I request all our guests to please settle down, kindly take the seats, the ones who are standing at the back, so that we can quickly start the show. Now that our chief guest is here, let's just quickly get started with it. All the guests who are standing at the back, yes, please. Yeah, kindly occupy your seats. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome to the most special part of National Taxation Awards 2022. This is the part where we bestow the biggest honor of the year, that is the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award. And to confer this award, we have some very distinguished dignitaries who are present with us this evening. It's been two very engaging and enriching last 2 days for all of us, and presentation of the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award is the apt last big session to end these 2 days with. So without taking any more time, since we have our dignitaries who have other commitments, I would like to quickly thank all our distinguished guests who are present here with us, all of you who've been here since morning, and our dignitaries who've joined us. I'm told that Shri Nitin Gadkari has just landed and has just come here. Thank you so much, sir, for making time out. Ladies and gentlemen, we would quickly like to invite all our dignitaries to join us on the dais, starting with the Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji. I also request the chair of this session, Mr. N.K. Singh, chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, to please join us on the dais. Thank you so much, Dr. P. Thiaga Rajan, Honorable Finance Minister and Human Resource Management Minister of Government Tamil Nadu, for being here with us for this very special part of National Taxation Awards. And we are extremely grateful to Shri Manpreet Singh Badal, former Finance Minister of Punjab, for being here for the conferment of this very special award. We are also grateful to Justice Patnaik, who's been able to join us this evening. Can I have the team quickly arrange the stage so that we can have him join us on the dais, sir, please? Sir, please, please. The dais is waiting for you. A big thank you to all the dignitaries, and other than the dignitaries you see on stage right now, we will also be joined by there are lots of video messages that have come for TIOL Awards. There's one from Member of Parliament, Mr. Shashi, Tharoor, who had to come in, but because of some flight issues, he's been very kind enough that he's at least sent a video message that will play out in some time from now. And also, there's a video message from Mr. Krishnamoorthi, US Congressman, that will be played out in some time. From Larry Summers, former US Secretary of Treasury, we have another video message that will be played out in the course of the evening. But let's give this evening a befitting start by getting started with the auspicious lamp lighting ceremony. I request all the dignitaries who are on the dais to please do the honors, and I request Mr. Shailendra Kumar and Mr. R. Sridhar from TIOL to please join the dignitaries for this lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you, gentlemen, for doing the honors. Moving forward into the evening, not just has TIOL Awards received love from within India and the dignitaries here, but also globally, we have received an outpouring of good wishes and messages from a lot of global dignitaries, and we would just like to play it out on the back screen here for you to see. Can we have the messages from the global dignitaries on the screen, please? So we have the Minister of Finance sending her wishes. We have His Holiness Dalai Lama, who sent a special message for TIOL Awards. Along with that, we have Gordon Brown, Satya Nadella, George W. Bush, and many other global dignitaries sending their best wishes for TIOL Awards. And we thank them from the heart for all the love and affection they've sent our way. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to invite onto the dais the trustee of TIOL Awards, Mr. Shailendra Kumar, the man who's behind the very vision of these awards. Please give a huge round of applause. He's the very backbone of these awards.
Good evening to all and a very warm welcome to the recipient of the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award 2022 and the Honorable former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who is with us. We are blessed, sir. We are very fortunate to have you. The Union Minister for Road Transport, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, the Chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, Shri N.K. Singh, the former United States Secretary of Treasury, Larry Summers. Incidentally, today happens to be the midterm elections in US, and a lot of dignitaries who had promised to join us today, but incidentally, they are not live, but they have shared the video message, which we would be sharing with you. And particularly Rajan Krishnamoorthi, the US Congressman, I wish him good luck, sir. Today is the poll day for him. So it's wonderful for him that despite in the midst of the electioneering, he found time for us and shared the video message. So let me thank him as well. Of course, we have Honorable Member of the Lok Sabha, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, who could not make it here, but he was kind enough to share the video message for Honorable former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. I will share that with you, sir. We have Honorable Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Thiaga Rajan, and former Finance Minister of Punjab, Shri Manpreet Badal. So thank you, sir. So nice of you. You spent so much of time with us, and we feel really blessed, including my audiences who have been sort of, really having good time with all of you, sir. I also feel very privileged to extend my warm welcome to the members of the Honorable Jury for TIOL National Taxation Award 2022. All the dignitaries from Government of India and the state governments and India Inc., the Academia, the members of the judiciary, the trophy winners who are still around, the distinguished guests from the Platinum Partner, RIL, and our knowledge partner, Deloitte, my friend from TIL, ladies and gentlemen. I am immensely grateful to the former Prime Minister who has done a great deal of honor to us and also to our honorable jury by accepting the most prestigious award in TIL Pantheon. Thank you, sir, for your blessings, and once again reminding us, and also everybody present here, about what the Chinese philosopher Confucius had said. The humility is the solid foundation for all virtues. Nobody can have more than you, sir. A parallel can also be found in our old Sanskrit literature. Namanti phalino vriksha namanti gunino. Sir, you have richly taught us humility is an essential trait to excel in life, and it requires self-knowledge and self-control. So apart from many history-bending contributions you have made to the economic and fiscal space, the posterity would be indebted to remember you for teaching the art of balancing extremes and contradictions in life. So many of your reforms are akin to the first step in faith, and you simply followed what famous Martin Luther King Jr. had said. You do not have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And you did it in 1991, also on many other occasions, with the two most powerful warriors, patience and time. And they yielded fruits for every Indians to pluck. Sir, you have richly lived your dream, and your richest legacy for humanity is going to be the mantra, living is in giving, and giving is living. I conclude by once again thanking all the dignitaries on the dais who have spared their valuable time for the momentous occasion tonight. Thanking everybody in this hall and the dignitaries on the dais for your valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shailendra Kumar, for delivering the welcome address. It's really an honor to host the presentation of the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award to the man who's famous for introducing reforms in the country at a time when the nation was staring at a payment crisis, and he turned around the Indian economy into an economic powerhouse, former Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh. And I request Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, who is a true visionary himself, to present this award. Shri Nitin Gadkari is one of the senior most members in PM Modi's cabinet, and he's seen as the man of masses, an accomplished social reformer, an adroit statesman, and an administrator. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, let's welcome our chief guest, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, onto the dais to present the Fiscal Heritage Award to Dr. Manmohan Singh.
सुखबीर सिंह बादल मुझे वो दिख रहा है सारा वो शीशे में चलो
आदरणीय एनके सिंह सर, पटनायक जी, तमिलनाडु के अर्थमंत्री, पंजाब के पूर्व अर्थमंत्री, उपस्थित सभी महानुभाव, विशेष रूप से डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी को आज जो अवार्ड दिया जा रहा है, उसके लिए मैं सबसे पहले हृदय से उनको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं दूंगा और शुभेच्छाएं दूंगा। मुझे याद है कि उस समय स्टूडेंट था मैं, और नरसिंह राव जी के कैबिनेट में अर्थमंत्री के रूप में उन्होंने इस देश की अर्थनीति की शुरुआत की। 1947 से लेकर समाजवाद, साम्यवाद और पूंजीवाद, इन तीन विचारों के आधार पर काफी बड़े प्रमाण पर देश में विवाद होते थे। पहली बार जो लिबरल इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी है, इसका थिंकिंग नरसिंह राव जी के नेतृत्व में मनमोहन सिंह जी ने इस विचारों की शुरुआत की, और स्वाभाविक रूप से उसके बाद इसी विचारों के अनुरूप हमारी जो आर्थिक नीति है वो आगे बढ़ते गई। मैं विशेष रूप से इसका एक उपयोग मुझे भी हुआ कि 95 में मैं महाराष्ट्र में मंत्री था, और पहली बार देश का पीपीपी प्रोजेक्ट बीओटी, ये रोड मिनिस्टर होने के नाते बनाने का मौका, ठाणे भिवंडी बाईपास, ये पहला देश का हाईवे पीपीपी मोड पर बनाने का मुझे मौका मिला। जब मैंने इसकी शुरुआत की तो इसके ऊपर बहुत क्रिटिसिज्म हुआ, असेंबली में भी हुआ, बाहर में भी हुआ, और बाद में मैंने उसी सक्सेस फार्मूला के साथ एमएसआरडीसी की स्थापना की और पब्लिक मार्केट से पैसे इकट्ठा किए। तब धीरूभाई अंबानी और रतन टाटा थे, पर सरकार की नीति उस समय इस सब बातों के लिए सपोर्टिंग थी। और जब मैं कैपिटल मार्केट में बॉन्ड्स खड़े करने के लिए गया तो हमारे पास एसेट नहीं थे। नेपीएनसी रोड पर हमारा एक ऑफिस था, और मैंने कुछ पीडब्ल्यूडी के एसेट ट्रांसफर किए, और बाद में पहली बार 500 करोड़ के लिए हम मार्केट में गए थे 96 में, और मुझे याद है कि उस समय हमको ओवर सब्सक्राइब हुआ 1200 करोड़ रुपए मिले, और ये पैसे से मुंबई में 55 फ्लाईओवर्स, वर्ली बांद्रा सीलिंग प्रोजेक्ट, मुंबई पुणे एक्सप्रेस हाईवे सब उसी पैसे से बने। केवल 5 करोड़ हमारे पास थे, और बाद में कैपिटल मार्केट में फिर से एक बार गए, फिर पैसे मिले। तो रतन टाटा और धीरू भाई अंबानी जी ने मुझे कहा था कि भाई, मैंने उस समय धीरू भाई का टेंडर रिजेक्ट किया था मुंबई पुणे का, तो थोड़े नाराज थे, पर जब उन्होंने कहा कि ये बहुत प्रोफेशनली अच्छा हुआ और अच्छी शुरुआत हुई, इसका कारण उस समय की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए लिबरल इकोनॉमी के आधार पर पीपीपी, बीओटी, ये सब बातों को उस समय रिकग्निशन, रिस्पेक्ट मिला, जो मनमोहन सिंह जी के कारण और नरसिंह राव जी के उस समय उदार आर्थिक नीति के कारण। और मुझे आज खुशी है कि मैं भी 8-10 दिन पहले मुंबई के कैपिटल मार्केट में NHI के इनविट बॉन्ड के लिए गया था, जो नॉन कन्वर्टेबल डिबेंचर्स थे, और मैं गोवा चला गया था, पर अचानक मुझे मुंबई आना पड़ा क्योंकि 10 दिन की मुदत थी और वो क्लोज करना था। और पहले ही दिन 7 घंटे में 7 टाइम्स ओवर सब्सक्राइब बॉन्ड हुआ, इतना लोगों ने रिस्पॉन्स दिया। और आज मैं कहता हूं कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में मैं हजारों करोड़ में और लाखों में बात करता हूं, और अनेक रोड बन रहे हैं, पैसे की कोई कमी नहीं है। और जब मैं ये बात कहता हूं तो लोग बड़े आश्चर्य से पूछते हैं कि भाई कहाँ से आता है। तो मैं बहुत बार ये कह चुका हूँ कि जो लिबरल इकोनॉमिक थिंकिंग हमारे देश में उस समय स्वीकार हुआ, उसके कारण मैं मानता हूँ कि देश के विकास को एक नई दिशा मिली, और जिसके लिए मनमोहन सिंह जी का विशेष हम लोग ऋणी है कि इसी में काफ़ी परिवर्तन हुआ। अभी एक बहुत अच्छी बात हुई जो मैं आपको जिक्र करूँगा कि मैं वाटर रिसोर्सेस मिनिस्टर के नाते हाइब्रिड एन्युटी, ये मॉडल मैंने मथुरा के 80 mld स्लज को अच्छा पानी शुद्ध करके एक मॉडल तैयार किया, और उसमें यानी सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट और लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में ये मॉडल इंट्रोड्यूस किया। और आपको आश्चर्य होगा कि उसमें हाइब्रिड एन्युटी में 40% फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट एंड 60% फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टर। और मुझे इस बात की खुशी हुई कि त्रिवेणी इंजीनियरिंग कंपनी ने वो टेंडर जीता, प्रोजेक्ट पूरा हुआ, और अभी इंडियन ऑयल मथुरा के 80 mld स्लज से, गंदे पानी से जो शुद्ध पानी मिलता है, वो खरीदती है और 20 करोड़ साल के उस पानी के लिए देती है, जिससे प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेसफुल हुआ। तो सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पोर्ट, सब जगह पर हमें बहुत कामयाबी मिली। मैं पोर्ट का मंत्री था, मेरा बजट 800 करोड़ का था, और मैंने एक समय एक सागरमाला प्रोजेक्ट 16 लाख करोड़ का तैयार किया था। तो लोग मुझे पूछते थे पैसा कहाँ से आएगा, पर थैंक्स टू लिबरल इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी मैं अभी तक 9 लाख करोड़ के काम पूरे हुए हैं, और हमारे पोर्ट ने 7000 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट कमाया है, और ये भी सक्सेस हुआ। और भारत माला जो रोड प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं, अभी तो हम 25 लाख करोड़ के काम कर रहे हैं, और 25 लाख करोड़ के करके हम रोड को मोनेटाइज कर रहे हैं। हमारा टोल का इनकम अभी 40,000 करोड़ है, और 2024 के एंड में 1,40,000 करोड़ होगा। तो रोड मोनेटाइज करके पैसे मिल रहे हैं, और अभी हमने तय किया कि हम बड़े लोगों के बजाय छोटे लोगों से पैसे लेंगे। और अभी छोटे छोटे कर्मचारी जो है, कांस्टेबल है, पत्रकार है, रिटायर्ड लोग हैं, पेंशनर्स हैं, उनको हम हमारे बॉन्ड्स में, इनविट बॉन्ड्स में 8% रिटर्न दे रहे हैं। और वो भी हमने व्यवस्था की कि उनको जो ब्याज है वो मंथली मिलेगा। मैंने तो मजाक में कहा कि डेली चाहिए तो डेली भी देंगे, वीकली चाहे तो वीकली देंगे, और मंथली चाहेंगे तो मंथली देंगे। और छोटे लोगों के पैसे से उनको 8% रिटर्न देकर रोड बनेंगे। आज देश में बहुत बड़ा पोटेंशियल है, ग्रोथ रेट बढ़ाना होगा तो कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट लानी होगी, और कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट के बिना एम्प्लॉयमेंट पोटेंशियल खड़ा नहीं होगा, और एम्प्लॉयमेंट पोटेंशियल के बिना इरेडिकेशन ऑफ पॉवर्टी मुश्किल है। और इसलिए गांव, गरीब, मजदूर, किसान के इंटरेस्ट में लिबरल इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी है। पर दुर्भाग्यवश कभी कभी इमेज वर्सेस रियलिटी एंड ग्राउंड रियलिटी वर्सेस परसेप्शन वाली बात होती है, तो लोगों को समझाने में कभी कभी इस बात को थोड़ी कठिनाइयाँ होती है। पर ये जो लिबरल इकोनॉमी है, इसका अच्छा उदाहरण चाइना में है। और मनमोहन सिंह जी ने जब इस बात को शुरू किया उसके पहले मुझे अभी बीजेपी के प्रेसिडेंट के नाते मैं चाइना गया था कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के इनविटेशन पर। तो जो नॉन रेसिडेंशियल चाइनीज थे उन्होंने पूरा शंघाई बनाया और ये पूरी कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट पब्लिक प्राइवेट सेक्टर से जो चाइनीज मंगोलियन वंश के जो वर्ल्ड में थे उन्होंने काफ़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट लाई और कम्युनिस्ट विचारधारा के लोगों ने भी उस लिबरल इकोनॉमी को स्वीकार किया। वी नीड लिबरल इकोनॉमी विथ इंटेंशन कि हम लोग गरीब से गरीब जो सोशली इकोनॉमिकली एजुकेशनली बैकवर्ड है उसको केंद्र बिंदु मानकर इसके बेनिफिट हम उसको देंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि जिस इकोनॉमिक थिंकिंग की शुरुआत मनमोहन सिंह जी ने रिजर्व बैंक के गवर्नर के रूप में की, बाद में अर्थमंत्री के रूप में की और प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में की, उसके कारण आज देश की प्रोग्रेस और विकास में एक नई दिशा मिली है। और आपने उनको ये जो अवार्ड दिया है इसके लिए मुझे बहुत खुशी है। मैं हृदय से उनका बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करता हूं, उनको शुभकामनाएं देता हूं, शुभेच्छाएं देता हूं। और निश्चित रूप से इस अर्थनीति में हमारे देश के विकास के लिए निश्चित रूप से ये जो बेसिक बात उन्होंने शुरुआत की थी वो भविष्य में निश्चित रूप से उपयोगी साबित होगी। फिर से एक बार उनको बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन, शुभकामनाएं और शुभेच्छाएं। थैंक यू।
Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, I request you to please confer the award on Dr. Manmohan Singh. Mr. Shailendra Kumar will receive it on his behalf and make sure it reaches Dr. Manmohan Singh. He couldn't be here because of health reasons, but we'll make sure he receives it. Thank you to Shri Nitin Gadkari ji and our guests for doing the honors. Dr. Manmohan Singh is here with us. He's virtually joining us, the man who is credited to have changed the economic face of India. Many congratulations, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, on being presented the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award. I request you to please say a few lines as your acceptance speech for the award.
Shri Gadkari ji and distinguished countrymen sitting on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today amongst people of great distinction in the field of law and taxation. I congratulate the outstanding individuals and organizations whom Tax India Online has honored. I have been told that Tax India Online is a creation of the millennium. TIOL's successes and achievements in its journey of 22 years are indeed remarkable. 22 years ago, you had the courage of conviction to enter untested waters. This boldness and talent have resulted in a media brand that is widely respected for its protectionism, professionalism, and ethics. I congratulate you for the high standards you have maintained while building a safe bridge between taxpayers and tax administrators. I believe that the media has a very important contribution to make in the process of nation building. We expect the media to be vigilant, to point out the shortcomings of the government and thus help in improving the effectiveness of governance. I am happy that TIOL has taken up many campaigns on issues of vital national importance in the field of taxation and tax legislation. Ladies and gentlemen, I belong to a generation that was shaped by our freedom struggle and by our efforts at nation building. Freedom gave us hope, independence gave us courage, democracy gave us rights and responsibilities, and nation building defined our charter. As a generation, we experienced a transformation in our lives that we could never even imagine. However, economic growth, social changes, and political empowerment have brought in their way new aspirations of an entirely new generation of Indians. This has contributed to growing impatience and a desire for faster growth and a better quality of life. These aspirations and ambitions are exerting pressures on governments to deliver more, perform better, and be more transparent and efficient. I entered the world of politics in the midst of a grave economic crisis. In 1991, India was confronted by two challenges on the external front. Most of you will only recall the external payments crisis of 1991. But this payments crisis occurred against the backdrop of an even bigger challenge, the breakdown of the global bipolar order. As Finance Minister, I had to worry not only about reducing the fiscal deficit and reviving economic growth, but also about stabilizing the rupee and ensuring access to adequate foreign exchange. At this critical time, I had said that the emergence of India as an economic powerhouse was an idea whose time had come. In my 91 budget speech, I said, a finance minister has to be hard-headed. This I shall endeavor to be. I shall be firm when it comes to defending the interests of this nation. But I promise that in dealing with the people of India, I shall be soft-hearted. I shall not in any way renege on our nation's firm and irrevocable commitment to the pursuit of equity and social change. I shall never forget that ultimately all economic processes are meant to serve the interests of our people. It is only through a commitment to social justice and the pursuit of excellence that we can mobilize the collective will of our people for development, to give it a high moral purpose, and to keep alive the spirit of national solidarity. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, we took momentous decisions with respect to our economic policies as well as our foreign policy. Prime Minister Narasimha Rao launched what has come to be known in India as Look East policy, linking India to the new growth engines of Asia. We liberalized our trade and investment rules to help India reintegrate with the global economy. The policies of these years had far-reaching and enduring impact. In 2004, when I became Finance Minister of India, I took on that responsibility with diligence as my tool, truth as my beacon, and prayer that I might always do the right thing by our people. As I have said on many occasions, my life and tenure in public office are an open book. Serving this great nation has been my privilege. There is nothing more that I could ask for. I owe everything to this country, this great land of ours, where I, an underprivileged child of partition, was empowered enough to rise and occupy high public offices. It is both a debt that I will never be able to repay and a decoration that I will always wear with great pride. Governments come and governments go, but this great nation of ours is heir to one of the oldest civilizations known to humanity. Its history is marked by continuity and change and a remarkable cultural plurality. These are great strengths. Friends, I am confident about the future of India. India will continue to rise, blending tradition with modernity and unity with diversity. This nation of ours can show the way forward to the world at large. I am very happy to receive this Fiscal Heritage Award from Tax India Online. I wish TIOL and all the other awardees the very best for the future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, for accepting the TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award. It's an honor for us, for you to be present with us today. And thank you for your acceptance speech. I request you to please stay with us. But I'm told that the Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari, has another urgent commitment to attend to. So before we let him go, can I please request the TIOL team to join me on stage for a group photograph with all the dignitaries on the dais. Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, just a small token of thanks from our side to you. TIOL team, can you please have it on stage? Thank you all. Thank you, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, for sparing time out for TIOL Awards. We really value your presence here. Thank you so much once again. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special address from Mr. Larry Summers, former US Secretary of Treasury, regarding Dr. Manmohan Singh, talking about him. So there's a very special video play out from Mr. Larry Summers.
I'm delighted to be part of this celebration of a man I greatly admire very much, Dr. Manmohan Singh. I can think of no other economist worldwide who has been so influential as a political leader and an economic thinker. It was my enormous privilege to interact with Dr. Singh during his time of service as Finance Minister of India at an agonizingly difficult moment for the Indian economy in the early 1990s. With his extraordinary gentleness of expression, but firmness of purpose, with his deep commitment to those least fortunate, his extraordinary compassion, but also his economist's recognition of the need for incentives, of the function that markets can perform. Dr. Singh did a remarkable job in helping transform the Indian economy. Years later, it was my privilege to meet Dr. Singh during his period of service as India's Prime Minister. Once again, I met a man with a gentleness, a thoughtfulness that one associates more with the faculty common room than with the hurly-burly of politics. But anyone who talked to Dr. Singh at length, who heard his appreciation of complex political situations, both domestic and international, came to realize that behind that calm facade lay a carefully, effectively calculating political mind. Unlike so many political minds, Dr. Singh was not motivated by ego. He was not motivated by a desire to thrust himself forward. He was motivated, as best I could always tell, by a desire to do the right thing for his beloved India. And so I am honored by the invitation to play my small part in the tapestry of those who respect, admire, and venerate Dr. Manmohan Singh. I salute those who have organized this ceremony. I salute their choice of Dr. Singh, and I regret only that I cannot be physically present. Thank you very much.
That is Mr. Larry Summers, former US Secretary of Treasury, with his message for Dr. Manmohan Singh. And we have yet another very special message for Dr. Manmohan Singh, and this time from Member of Parliament, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, who was to join us today, but because of some travel restriction, he couldn't be here in physical this evening, but he sends this message for Dr. Manmohan Singh.
30 years ago, India's mild-mannered finance minister delivered a startlingly bold budget to the nation with the memorable words, "No power on earth can stop an idea whose time has come." The idea he was advancing was that of the liberalization of the Indian economy, and the reforms he ushered in proved almost revolutionary, lifting many of the controls of the license permit quota Raj, as it was known, and transforming India's derisory Hindu rate of growth from below 3% to a galloping, even tigerish 8% plus in the decade and a half that followed. 3 decades later, I'm delighted to hear that that finance minister, subsequently prime minister, and now the greatest of our surviving elder statesmen, Dr. Manmohan Singh, receives TIOL's Lifetime Achievement Award. At the pinnacle of his career, he has done so much for his nation that today, as he enjoys a little more of a well-deserved rest, it is the right time to honor him and thank him for his extraordinary services to India and to humanity. He has very often not got his due because his mildness has been dismissed by his critics as timidity. His calm and unflappable manner was excoriated by his rivals politically as complacency and ineffectiveness, and he was blamed for things that were not his fault by people who have presided over far more economic failures than he ever had to experience during his years in office. This man did more than anyone to earn his country a worldwide reputation as the world's next big economic success story after the first decade of the 21st century. Yes, there was some bad news, but those are elements that pale in comparison with the bad news that has assailed India in the last few years. What is absolutely vital is to look at his accomplishments. The India that he took by the scruff of the neck in 1991 was an inefficient and underperforming, centrally planned economy which for 45 years had placed bureaucrats rather than businessmen on the commanding heights, stifled enterprise under a straitjacket of regulations and licenses, thrown up protectionist barriers, and denied itself trade and foreign investment in the name of self-reliance, subsidizing an unproductive public sector and struggling to redistribute its poverty. Today's India boasts a thriving entrepreneurial and globalized economy with a dynamic and creative business culture, treating with the world on its own terms, and during Manmohan Singh's prime ministership, pulling over 10 million people a year above the poverty line. The contrast is extraordinary, and no one deserves a greater share of the credit for this transformation than Dr. Manmohan Singh. Even as the planet has faced an unprecedented global economic crisis from 2008-9, the last 5 years of Dr. Manmohan Singh's tenure as Prime Minister, India under him weathered the worldwide trend and remained the second fastest growing major economy in the world after China, at a time when most countries suffered negative growth rates in at least one quarter in the last 4 years. Manmohan Singh's stewardship had a lot to do with this. His was the voice heard with the greatest respect when the G20 gathered to discuss the world's macroeconomic situation. When then President Obama was asked, he mentioned Manmohan Singh first amongst the top 3 world leaders he admired. The Indian economy grew between 7 and 9% in Manmohan Singh's time. The services sector grew at 9%, and under him accounted for 58% of India's GDP growth, a stabilizing factor when a world increasingly heading to recession could not afford to buy more manufactured goods. The country's 247 million households, 2/3 of them rural, saw literacy rates rise to nearly 80%. 51,000 schools were opened under Manmohan Singh, almost 1 million teachers appointed, an impressive number of Indians had phones. They went from about 9% at the beginning of his tenure to over 75% at the end of his tenure. 100 million new phone connections were established in the last few years of his rule, including 40 million of those in rural areas. And thanks to the ethos brought in by Manmohan Singh, nearly 60% of Indians had a bank account because of the large number of new bank accounts he opened to permit direct transfer of benefits from the government. He added additional power generation capacity, made new electric connections to rural India, got thousands of villages power for the first time, and by the time he left office, 93% of Indians in towns and cities had some access to electricity. All these trends laid the foundation for India's macroeconomic future. And the work that was done to lay the groundwork in infrastructure development has since continued, and the work done by him on public-private partnerships blazed a path that others have chosen since to follow. It's been extraordinary to see the way in which he has been able to overcome some of the endemic challenges of the Indian economy, including corruption, for which his government was demonized, but which has persisted and worsened in the present government. There is no question that what he was able to achieve for India, India's dogged progress in the face of all the challenges that everyone was familiar with, is far removed from the biased portrayal of a government beset by inaction and so-called policy paralysis, for which he was upbraided by his political rivals in his last couple of years of office. As he himself, as Prime Minister, modestly put it, I would be the first to say we need to do better, but let no one doubt that we have achieved much. Indeed, Manmohan Singh achieved much, and he has earned the right to be hailed for what he has done and to be the worthy recipient of the TIOL Lifetime Achievement Award today. May India benefit from what you have done for it, and may the millions of Indians who benefited from your leadership and the millions of people around the world for whom you have shown the guiding light long be grateful for your years of service to our nation and to the world. Jai Hind, Manmohan Ji.
Thank you, Shri Shashi Tharoor, for taking time out for recording this video and sending it for TIOL Awards. It means a lot to us. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite onto the dais Honorable Justice Patnaik, former Judge Supreme Court of India, to come and say a few words about Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Dr. Thiaga Rajan, Mr. N.K. Singh, Mr. Manpreet, Badal, sitting on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I have to say anything more about Dr. Manmohan Singh after heard so much about him as to why he got the Lifetime Achievement Award. But let me tell you, I am here because I happen to be part of the jury for the TIOL Awards. In the first meeting that I attended, I was told that the choice this time for the Lifetime Achievement Award is Dr. Manmohan Singh. And I was also told that this choice has been made on the basis of a lot of opinions taken from cross-section of the people of India. The assessment that TIOL makes while giving an award is truly very objective. And the jury has a very little role to play, considering the opinions that has been expressed by so many respondents. So I used to think, after Prime Minister, what further recognition a man requires? Well, Prime Minister may be on the best of a political decision. But a lifetime achievement award given by opinions taken from the cross-section of people, and it's a huge cross-section throughout the country, is entirely a different thing altogether. Recently, Chief Justice Venkatacharya was given an award, Scotch Award. And I thought, why Chief Justice Venkatacharya is accepting? And I heard his speech because I was also one of the awardees. And I went in there because I thought that what Supreme Court judge, what recognition he wants after his retirement. But when I heard Chief Justice Venkatacharya, he said, no, I also was not interested in the award. But I think since he had retired long back and he was being given award at this time, after several years of his retirement, he thought, I felt that I am still relevant in this world. Dr. Manmohan Singh retired long back in 2014 as a Prime Minister. In fact, I was a judge when he was the Prime Minister of India. I have met him a number of times in his house, in his dinners, and also in the President's house. Very humble, wonderful person. I've met his wife also. But today's deliberations and today's award show that Dr. Manmohan Singh's and his policies and ideas are still relevant for all of us in this country. And what is most important is, he's an economist. We have been studying his books on monetary economics since student days. But unless you give an opportunity to the economist, like one more sitting here, Dr. N.K. Singh, to do something for the country, you will not know what an economist is, good economist capable of. Dr. Manmohan Singh, thank God, the country gave him the opportunity to not only be the finance minister, and at a time when the economy was in crisis, and also become a prime minister later on, and he has shown what he could capable of and how much he can do for the country. With these words, I congratulate Dr. Manmohan Singh for this award.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Patnaik. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special message for Dr. Manmohan Singh from US Congressman, Mr. Raja Krishnamoorthi. I request the tech team to please play that out.
Hi, everybody. I'm Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of the 8th District of Illinois in the United States. I want to thank TIOL for allowing me to address you virtually. Thank you also for honoring the legacy of Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister who helped to initiate groundbreaking economic reforms that has enabled India to soar to become the world's 5th biggest economy. I want to say what he did back then has been carried forward by many different prime ministers of many different parties. That signals the great endurance and the importance of those reforms. I want to thank all of you for everything that you do for your clients and your businesses, and thank you for allowing me to celebrate all of you as well. God bless, Jai Hind, and take care.
Thank you, Mr. Raja Krishnamoorthi, for that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to invite onto the dais a man we really enjoyed listening to in the morning. I'm glad we're getting one more chance, this time more about Dr. Manmohan Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause, please welcome former Finance Minister of Punjab, Mr. Manpreet Singh Badal.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, who is with us, joined us virtually. Mr. N.K. Singh, Saab, a mentor to me. Sir, the state of Punjab owes a debt of gratitude to you for what you've done for the state of Punjab. the charismatic, the youthful Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, eloquent and erudite, Mr. Thiaga Rajanji, Justice Patnaik. It's my privilege and a pleasure to be here with you all this evening. I'm reminded of the hauntingly beautiful words of one of the greatest poets of the subcontinent, Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, and I quote in original, where he says, "Husne tadbir se jaag uthta hai qaumo ka naseeb." Husn is beautiful and tadbir is planning. And only with beautiful planning can you change the fate of nations. He says, "Husne tadbir se jaag uthta hai qaumo ka naseeb. Kabhi badalti nahi takdeer armanon se." You know, it's not just by words and emotions can you change the fate of nations. This year also happens to be the 75th year of Indian independence. Independence did not come easy. It came with a lot of physical pain of British bullets and batons. There must have been thousands and thousands of young men from all over India who must have left their happy homes, smiling children, beautiful wives, to fight for Indians' independence, in the hope that one day, when India becomes independent, people of India would live a prosperous life, a cultured life, a dignified life, with access to decent education and housing. I stand here before you, 75 years late, deeply aware and acutely embarrassed that some of the dreams of our freedom fighters, they still remain unfulfilled. And I belong to the state of Punjab. Sir, every other family living in the state of Punjab has had to emigrate from what is now called Pakistan. I think nobody else better than Dr. Manmohan Singh can describe the pain of the partition of India than Dr. Manmohan Singh, who must have left his home in village Gah in what is now the Jhelum district of Pakistan. We lost 1 million people dead. Millions of people from both sides had to cross the border. And Punjab has played a unique role in the history of the Indian subcontinent, a role completely disproportionate to our size and population. History teaches us that a nation is defined by the character and culture of its people, not by the geography and topography of the boundaries within it. And over the centuries, millions of cities and states have disappeared from the face of the earth or lie buried in the annals of history. But the land of the 5 rivers, Punjab, in spite of having faced some of the fiercest challenges known to mankind, has persisted since antiquity. From thousands of years, Punjab has sent its finest sons to face great danger, to defend the freedom and dignity of this ancient land. All we have ever asked in return is enough land to bury those sons who could not come back alive. And it is on the solid, it is not land, but on the foundation of courage that Punjab was built. We have a saying that there are three kinds of nations: the haves, the have-nots, and those who are indebted to the haves. Whether you're in the first category or the second category, sometimes depends on circumstances beyond your control. But to be in the third category, when you're indebted to the haves, is a matter of personal choice. I think the greatest contribution of Dr. Manmohan Singh ji was that he decided that India will not be in the third category. Dr. Manmohan Singh ji's, I think it's my personal view, his greatest achievement has not been to hold any particular office. His greatest achievement has been to have played a part, to have played a role in an effort to augment the nobility of this ancient land. His task was that of a canary which guides the coal miners from the deepest recesses of the earth outwards towards light. I have always said, and I repeat today, the word Punjabi and pessimism, Punjabi and defeatism. This cannot be ever uttered in the same breath. You never find a pessimistic Punjabi. And it was none but our forefathers who turned back the armies of Alexander the Great, trampled the land beyond the Khyber, humbled the British Empire, and these qualities of sacrifice, courage, and dedication to India, they cannot be bought in the bazaars of Hindustan. They come with the grace of God. And to quote the great poet of the East once again, from his poem Jawab-e-Shikwa, Muhammad Iqbal, where he says, and God is telling man, Bhagwan aadmi ko bol raha hai, कि कोई काबिल हो तो हम शाने कई देते हैं. That if somebody is capable, I endow him with many, many splendors. कोई काबिल हो तो हम शाने कई देते हैं. ढूंढने वालों को दुनिया भी नहीं देते हैं. एक दुनिया से काम कैसे चलेगा? एक और दुनिया ले लो. दो दुनिया से तो जो काम करने वाले लोग हैं. So I think what everybody has talked about is that not a month passes now when we don't hear of India's successes, whether in India or abroad. You know, we hear about the rise of the Indian unicorns. We hear about the rise of the global CEOs. We hear about the rise of the global Indian politicians. You know, this is the emergence of a new age India. But this has happened out of decisions taken by Dr. Manmohan Singh ji and his colleagues in the 1990s. And sometimes I wonder, what if Prime Minister Chandrasekhar had not convinced Dr. Singh for him to join as his economic advisor? What if Prime Minister Narasimha Rao had not appointed Dr. Singh as his finance minister? What if Dr. Manmohan Singh had refused to become the finance minister? I think these are questions which are best left to historians. But today, India is yet on another threshold. The rise of China, the war in Ukraine, the emergence of new radical forces all over the world, and the fourth industrial revolution is upping the ante for us. How does India readjust to the emerging new world order? The Washington consensus and the neoliberal policies are under strain. The Bretton Woods system is being challenged. What path does India adopt, and what corrective steps does the country need to take so that the historic forces of change do not overtake us? The coming of the fourth industrial revolution is accompanied by increased digitalization, artificial intelligence, and the use of robotics in manufacturing. What impact will they have on countries like India? Will the forces of nationalism in the developed world lead to the reversal of jobs away from India? How will the influence of outsourcing industry, an industry where Indians have benefited a lot? How will our manufacturing base respond to the replacement of manpower to robotics? Frankly, these are questions which a person like me with limited experience as the finance minister of Punjab, I don't have answers. I have a lot of questions, but I don't have the answers. My worry is not that I don't have the answers. My worry is that most of the people I interact with, and most of the people who sit in prominent positions, somehow seem oblivious to these developments. It requires a person of Dr. Manmohan Singh ji's intellect, his wisdom to address these questions. The country also requires his humility to take everybody along. It requires his firmness of resolve to carry this through. India now sits on a cusp of history. The future is well within our grasp. I think this is the opportune time to embrace our future in the world. And I will end this with, again, the beautiful words of the charismatic former President of the United States of America, John F. Kennedy, where he says, "No greatness of achievement is impossible for good men determined. Fortune is the unfailing ally of the brave." God bless India. Thank you for your patience. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Shri Manpreet Singh Badal ji, for your insightful address. And I would now like to invite Dr. P. Thiaga Rajan, Honorable Minister of Finance and Human Resource Management, Government of Tamil Nadu, to talk about the contributions of Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by paying my deep respects to one of the greatest sons of our nation, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Let me also pay my respects to the elder statesman, former chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, Dr. N.K. Singh, the retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Patnaik, the eminent and extremely competent administrator, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, who was here with us for a while, and the very powerful orator, my friend, the former Finance Minister of Punjab, Mr. Manpreet Badal. It's always difficult to follow him onto the podium because he's such a powerful orator. I'm not sure I'm qualified to be here today, but I would just like to express three emotions in a very brief statement. First, I feel great humility taking part in such an award to such a distinguished and accomplished leader who contributed in so many ways to our country. It's hard for me to imagine somebody who has contributed at the Planning Commission, at the RBI, as a Finance Minister, as a Prime Minister, in so many ways, as an educator, as an administrator, as a leader. And that somebody like me, a few years into public life and a year and a half into ministry, should have this opportunity, I think is a great privilege for me. It's also very humbling. In fact, to be part of this panel itself is very humbling to me. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. Many people have spoken of the major contributions, not the least my friend, the MP, Mr. Shashi Tharoor. So I won't belabor those points. But I will just say that in any nation's history, it's hard to find somebody who has had a greater impact than Dr. Manmohan Singh has had in our 75 years of independence. The second emotion I feel is great happiness, because I had the extreme good fortune of meeting Dr. Manmohan Singh personally a couple of times, and I consider it one of the great joys and privileges of my life to get the blessings and advice and even time with such a distinguished leader who has accomplished so much. And so it is a highlight certainly of my professional career across all dimensions that I have worked to be here today and be part of this. But I think the other emotion I leave here with today is hope. I was so impressed with Mr. Gadkari's speech, with his ability to articulate the values, ongoing value that India gets from the vision and the execution of that vision by Dr. Singh, and to say it in a way that so correlates to why people like me came to public life, that is to help the poor, to improve the lives of our citizens. And it gives me hope that at some level, in the service of the people, we can all cast partisan politics aside and focus on the real benefits to the people and improving the lives of citizens and moving our country forward. So for all those reasons, I thank the organizers for giving me this great opportunity to be part of this wonderful occasion. And I once again pay my deep respects to Dr. Manmohan Singh, one of the greatest sons of our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. P. Thiaga Rajan. And now it's time for me to request the chair of this session, Mr. N.K. Singh, Chairman of 15th Finance Commission, to please say a few words. Sir, I will get the mic to you if you're more comfortable while sitting. You okay?
Thank you very much. At the outset, my profound gratitude to the organizers, to Shailendra, to the outstanding team which has put together today's remarkable event, to others who have spoken with such fervor, such emotion, bringing out the historic contribution of this iconic shaper of India's destiny, Dr. Manmohan Singh. I've heard in rapt attention by Mr. Nitin Gadkari, anecdotally describing really what one important decision unshackled for India, the concept of public-private partnership. There could not be a more elegant demonstration of an idea which Dr. Singh knows there was such hesitation, anxiety in even the government which he had the honor to serve. We heard him. We heard, of course, my very good old friend, and no doubt his friend, Larry Summers, the former US Treasury Secretary, who really did not want to add something, that he was a great ally of Dr. Manmohan Singh during the balance payments crisis of 1991, when both Montague and I had turned to him for some accommodation to be shown by the US Treasury in India's requests for important support from international monetary institutions. Of course, to others, to his colleague in Parliament, to Shashi, who's spoken with fervor. He's been a colleague of mine in Parliament. Shashi is always a very articulate speaker, and he outdid himself today for good reasons. To, of course, Raja, the prospective Congressman, we hope he wins. This is really India's footprint in the reawakening of a new kind of diaspora. Somebody joked with me the other day that considering what has happened to 10 Downing Street, if you join Cambridge, which is where Dr. Manmohan Singh was, Cambridge, you also know the way to number 10 Downing Street. This history in some ways has taken quite a congruence. Of course, to my very good friend, Manpreet Badal, who is such an articulate speaker. By the way, he's also a great historian, Manpreet. Some of the stories which he has will keep you amused for the whole evening. And Manpreet, I haven't spent that time with you for a very long time. It is time we really catch up. Of course, the very bright Mr. Thiaga Rajan, the young finance minister of Tamil Nadu, who has a big chart ahead of him. Of course, Justice Patnaik, whose work, with judgments, we have all in deep admiration with, all spoken with one common purpose, to really add their voice to this choice on this occasion of the conferment of this award by TIOL so justifiably to someone who has shaped India's destiny in a major way. What can I say about Dr. Manmohan Singh? What can I not say? I just whispered to Justice Patnaik that I had the privilege to know him from much longer than perhaps any of you in this audience. I first met him in 1969 when he was working in the UNDP and had not joined the Indian government. And we were on our way for an important non-aligned conference to Lima, Peru, when Lakshmikant Jha, as our ambassador to the United States, had really brought him to us as a person whose voice must be heard. This was 1969, 1971. Shortly after that, he came to the Ministry of Commerce, which was his first government assignment, as the economic advisor to the Ministry of Commerce. It was his sagacity at that time, which balanced the challenges in the Ministry of Commerce, which at that time was committed to more and more policies by the state in taking over the private sector from foreign trade. From that time onwards, as a chief economic advisor in the Ministry of Finance, with difficult challenges, and the rest, of course, is history. It really fills me, therefore, with such nostalgia that there is hardly any assignment which he has not really had the privilege and has brought glory to that assignment, but I was not privileged in some manner or the other to have known him, to have been connected by him in multiple ways. And therefore this evening, Shailendra fills me with a great deal of nostalgia. And I will end really and make three broad observations. First, in his self-effacing humility, which has been pointed out, his dedication, his honesty, which has been talked about, his commitment to the high office which he has held. I recall that when I entered his room, just before the 1991 economic package was unraveled, I remember those indelible words in the finance minister's office. We will change India. Too many cobwebs have kept back the energy of this nation for far too long. I did not quite understand the meaning and force of those words when those words were mentioned to me in that room. This was before the 1991 budget. And then, in a couple of weeks' time, the budget unveiled where India has never looked back upon. Look at the audacity of those decisions. Look at the audacity of some of those lines which are coming to fruition. Who would have thought of something like sale of public sector undertakings? He did it so cleverly. He first called it the bundling of shares. Even the word disinvestment was considered abusive and was not considered at all acceptable. From the unbundling of some shares to now happily talking about privatization of public undertakings, where this is one of the important strategies being outlined by the government. Look at the sagacity of that man speaking. But what was remembering one thing, that leadership is the art of the impossible. Politics is always about the art of the possible, combining the impossible with the art of the possible. Is that congenital ability which Dr. Singh has, which is really unique to him. If we track down all the important decisions which were taken, you'll often find that sometimes his reticence is only a tactical reticence, waiting for time and opportunity, when the leadership component and the leadership aspect of his will overcome that reticence to take some of those important decisions. Indeed, Manpreet, you have recited some of the important challenges which we face today in global economics. The challenge of inflation, the challenge of high energy prices, the challenge of a war, the challenge of geopolitical uncertainties, and the multiple challenges which make it difficult to combine the virtues of growth with the virtues of managing inflation. Indeed, these were, Manpreet, many of the challenges in a different way that Dr. Manmohan Singh encountered in multiple aspects of his decision-making process in the Ministry of Finance. Think of it at that time. If we look and juxtapose what India faced at that time is what the world is facing now. And to that extent, let me end by saying that his lasting contribution is not only to reposition India in the world, but he used to tell me, Nadu, we have a lot to learn from the world. With justifiable pride as he looks back with nostalgia, he can say, the world has a lot to learn from India. This indeed is a historic change which his sagacity and which his leadership has brought about, repositioned India as the global virtue. Thank you, Dr. Manmohan Singh, for this great service. It is with justifiable pride that the jury selected you. And indeed, I have been given Shailendra the privilege to speak to him about a man about whom nostalgia fills me, anecdotes overpower me as I look back with pride and sharing the pride with the mentorship which he gave to many like me in the long years of my career and 50 years of my association with this noble person, Dr. Manmohan Singh. May, sir, be blessed by your continued presence, and may God give you good health to always provide the sanguine advice on the right course of action, which will never deter India from the path of its glory, some of which you have charted. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shri N.K. Singh, Chairman of 15th Finance Commission and a renowned economist, for those words for Dr. Manmohan Singh. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take you straight to London, from where Mr. Martin Wolf, Chief Economics Commentator, Financial Times, London, has been patiently waiting for all of us. Thank you so much, Mr. Wolf, for being so patient. Mr. Manmohan Singh can hear you, and so can the other dignitaries on the stage. And I request you to please say a few words. Sorry to keep you waiting.
So I hope you can hear me. It is an immense honor and pleasure to speak a few words at this event in honor of Dr. Manmohan Singh. He is, as his beautiful speech showed yet again, a good man and a great man. And this is an extraordinarily rare combination. In my experience, he's pretty well unique. Quite simply, I admire Manmohan Singh, indeed venerate him, more than any other person I have known. I'd like to talk briefly about his legacy, but much of that has already been said. I don't have much to add. He, of course, introduced a radical and well-conceived liberalizing reform at a crucial moment in India's economic history. And of course, in doing so, he built on his fundamental optimism about India's potential, his belief that India could succeed in the world, already shown in his classic book, published, if I remember correctly, in 1962, on India's exports. He later built on this achievement as a reformer, as prime minister, with many other modernizing reforms. One particularly notable in the world is the Aadhaar system of identity, of individual identities. He chose and worked successfully with some exceptional colleagues, notably including my dear friend Montek Singh Ahluwalia and N.K. Singh, who has just spoken. With these efforts, he transformed India into a high-growth country. And that, the achievement of high growth, was of course an unprecedented event in the long history of Indian civilization. And it inevitably and profoundly transformed Indian society and, as many have remarked, its place and future in the world. So that is Manmohan's legacy. But what about his character? I have been lucky enough to have known him since 1974, when he was the Government of India's chief economic advisor, and I was then a very young senior economist in the India division of the World Bank. And I knew already, of course, of his important work on exports, since I went on to write a book of my own, far less important, on the same subject. I soon learned he was an exceptional economist. I came to admire very soon his devotion to the welfare of India and Indians, but also of other people. He is, of course, a great citizen of India, as has been mentioned, but he is also a great citizen of the world. He has a deep belief in India's democracy and the good sense and decency of the Indian people. He is unfailingly penetrating, judicious, thoughtful, and soft-spoken. He is modest and decent. He is a man of exceptional integrity. Only last July, when I was in Delhi, I had the great privilege of meeting him at his home and enjoyed a powerful and thought-provoking discussion of the Ukraine and Russia war. Manmohan Singh is honored for good reason. His country should be proud of this great Indian.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Wolf, for those words for Dr. Manmohan Singh, and thank you so much for joining us all the way from London despite the time difference. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the evening, which we would like to end with the thunderous rounds of applause for the awardee of TIOL Fiscal Heritage Award, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh, amidst this resounding applause, I would like to ask you, since you've heard all these stalwarts saying all that they said about you, would you like to say a few lines before we part from this evening?
कुछ बोलोगे? आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं? हाँ, thanks, Nadu.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am most grateful to all the distinguished luminaries who have spoken at today's function and paid tributes to me, which probably I do not deserve, but to be told by so many successful practitioners of the art of statecraft is an honor which I deeply cherish and I value. To all of them, I express my grateful regards, and I sincerely hope that years to come, India will rise and rise more effectively to get rid of chronic poverty, ignorance, and disease, which have been the lot of millions of our people for a long time to come. I think the time has come when collectively we must work to write a new chapter in India's life, a growth path which will get rid of poverty, ignorance, and disease forever from this land of ours. Thank you very much. I am very grateful to each one of the gentlemen who have spoken, Justice Patnaik, Martin Wolf, Larry Summers. They are very old friends and whose values and whose thoughts I always cherished. And Manpreet, he has been a very good finance minister. Dr. Thiaga Rajan is in the same category, a great finance minister. I wish all their countries that they would learn how to use their services effectively. That's something which we owe to our people. With these words, I once again thank the organizers of today's function and all those who have spoken with such great passion, with such great vigor, and may their thoughts will be something which I will carry and cherish for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, for being with us this evening. It has been truly an honor on the part of each and everyone in this gathering to have you with us. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw curtains down on this edition of National Taxation Awards 2022, I would like to request Mr. Vijay Kumar from TIOL Awards Organizing Committee to please come on the dais and present the vote of thanks.
Ritika gave me a test a couple of hours ago and I passed it. She's called me back to say the vote of thanks. And Ritika, please come. This is Ritika. If I thank her, I think I've thanked everyone. I thank you for the very good way that you have organized this function. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
After you have heard that very great experience we just had with Dr. Manmohan Singh, I don't think who can thank Dr. Manmohan Singh, or for that matter, all these great people here. But still, I think we have a little time for dinner. I seek your indulgence for a couple of minutes. Today is Guru Nanak's birthday. I felt there was Guru Nanak blessing us virtually. And if that virtual blessing was not not enough, I think there is a junior Guru Nanak sitting here. What else do we need? Paise ka koi kami nahi. You believe that? That's what our guest, Honorable Minister Gadkari sahab said. While presenting an award to a great economist who said, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, that was the unique opportunity we had today. But Gadkari sahab has proved that, he told me, is desh mein paisa ka koi kami nahi. At least not for me. Then I asked him, but then why are you not the finance minister? Can you guess what would have been his answer? Well, he said, it's not in my hands. Friends, this is not a political statement. Our Badal Sahab has said about the Punjabis defending Alexander the Great. Swami says he should be called Alexander the Great Fool or something like that. When the King of Greece visited India for the first time, President Radhakrishnan said, you are the first Greek king to visit India on our invitation. Alexander came without an invitation. Thank you very much, sir, for all those couplets, poems. In the morning I was telling him that most of us don't understand good English, good Hindi, good GST, and in any case not Urdu. So at least when you are saying those couplets, if you can translate them into English for us, we would, whenever you hear an Urdu couplet, you say wah, 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 even if you don't understand. But we would understand it better, sir, if you, at least in your next speeches, if you kindly translate it more. When we went to invite Dr. Manmohan Singh for this function, and we told him that Dr. Thiaga is our guest. He said, yeah, that's good. We need such finance ministers, such educated finance ministers. And friends, I wanted to say this, but Dr. Manmohan Singh, as always, he stole my show. He said that just now. So you have Dr. Manmohan Singh certificate for what I said. Thank you very much, sir. Looking at Mr. N.K. Singh, he is as a rare species as Dr. Manmohan Singh. Look at this man, he was Revenue Secretary, and he talks about a meeting Manmohan Singh in 1969. He was a member of Parliament. He was a chairman of the Finance Commission. And when I offered to catch his hand to take him onto the stage, he said, "Get lost, I can walk." A man, Gadkari ji thinks that he is the man to ask for advice. Every government, whoever is in government, Mr. N.K. Singh has to be there for the economic advice. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on and on. I will stop just 1 minute. Everybody wonders how Gadkari builds his roads. And we all wonder how Shailendra manages this kind of shows. And though thanking in-house is not a good manners, but then I think I can be a little ill-mannered in thanking the man who has put up this great show with Dr. Manmohan Singh himself with those nice words. It's a great, fantastic show. I don't congratulate you, I thank you. And finally, I think I will end with judging a judge. Justice Patnaik was our jury. When a Supreme Court judge is a member of the jury, he is the jury. And on your selection of awardees, sir, the House approves it. Thank you very much. And finally, a great thanks to all of you who made this possible. Thank you very much. And please continue your patronage with joining us for dinner. Enjoy your dinner, enjoy the company, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vijay Kumar, for that vote of thanks and that trademark wit of yours. Thank you very much. And with this, we are bringing a close to this evening. I would like to request TIOL team to please present a token of thanks to the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you all the dignitaries. Thank you for being here. I request all the dignitaries and our guests here to please join us for dinner now. Thank you for making the TIOL National Taxation Awards such a success. Thank you.